What if the thing that you're struggling with right now is setting you up for the life you'll be proud of in 10 years' time? Welcome to What I Wish I Knew at 30, the podcast where we strip back the highlight reel and talk honestly about the moments that shaped us, the doubts, the detours, the breakdowns, and the breakthroughs that followed. If you're someone who's building a career, a business, or a life, and sometimes wondering if you're doing it right, you're in the right place. Before we dive in, make sure you hit subscribe or follow wherever you're listening. Every week, I bring you real conversations with people who've lived a lot of life and share what they wish they'd known sooner. And today's conversation is, I know, going to be a powerful one. My guest today is Chip Dolan, who resides in Austin, Texas. And their journey, I'm sure, is going to include the relentless repetition on how to master skills and probably more than one or two hard-earned lessons on the way. And probably lessons that completely reframe how success has been seen. There'll be moments in this conversation where they're going to share challenges, decisions that didn't go the way they wanted. Am I right, Chip? And it's something
Yes.
I know so many of you will relate to. Let's rewind the clock. Welcome to What I Wish I Knew at 30. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome.
I'm glad to be here. Glad that someone wants to hear me talk.
Absolutely. Well, I've heard a lot of you playing. And Chip, so can you just give us a little bit of an intro to what you do?
Well, I'm a full-time musician and I play piano and a little bit of guitar, but I play piano and sing in maybe 10 different avenues of music, and which has been a big help instead of just being one kind of guy, like just a blues musician. I play a lot of kind of stuff. And that's all I do for a while. I just play lots and lots of music, and I'm really lucky that I get to do that.
That's super humble of you. Just give us a bit of a tinkle.
Now, I was
I love it.
tempted to play, but I decided that's
That's
too
brilliant.
easy of
But
the
you're in Texas. You're in Texas. I'm in Melbourne, Australia. The wonders of modern technology. So Chip, take us back to your 30-year-old self. Where were you living? What were you doing day to day? And what were you quietly worried about at that time of life?
I was living here in Austin. I'd been here about 10 years, right about 10 years, and I was in the second band that I joined since I was moved down here, and I had I joined when I first got here. I joined the first band I met, and we had a lot of fun, but we didn't make any money. But when I was 20, and I didn't care. But then I got a chance to join another band that all of a sudden we were making money, not hand over fist, but money. So then you start to buy things, and then you have to keep that job because you have to pay for those things. I bought my first truck on time, and when I was 30, I had just bought my first house. And as you know, there's the responsibilities. You have to pay that mortgage every month, so you have to keep that job. And 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 it was a good job. It was a fun band, and I still play with them sometimes.
Yeah, brilliant. So what did you quietly worry about at that time? If you think back to when you were 30.
Well, it had when I was 27, I had my girlfriend and I at that time had a son. And we when I was about 30 or 31, she decided that she wanted to live somewhere else. So they moved to the Pacific Northwest up to Seattle. And that was a challenge for me. I kinda thought I didn't think I was doing it right or something like, and I wasn't sure how hard I should fight to make them stay, or should I go up there and with them, but I just decided I stayed here and kept working and visited a lot, but that was the most on my mind. I had a new kid,
Mm.
Noah, so that was taking most of my brain power, looking for extra ways to make money at that.
Yeah, that's a big challenge, isn't it? When you have a new child and then feel that situation where you actually moved away from them.
Yeah, and, I didn't have control over that situation. I felt like sort of like an irresponsible kid for it was a confusing time. I took one of the rare jobs I ever had outside the music business, and I tried working for an airline
Oh.
so that I could get flight benefits because I would go a year without seeing him. And
Mm.
this was before like FaceTime and
Yeah.
and and that job didn't work out at all. It only lasted about a month for a variety of reasons.
Yeah. And you're a musician at heart.
Well, yeah, yeah, and I'm a dog owner. You're gonna
I
occasionally
can
hear
hear
the
that.
dog barking.
That's okay, it just proves we're live. I've got one lying at my feet and one on the couch out there, so it's fine. That's okay.
I'm going to text their mother while we're talking and saying, "Please come get the dogs."
That's fine.
God,
We
I
can
can
cut
hear
this
you.
bit.
Oh, 10. Oh, that's right, you can edit this in.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
Okay. So, Chip, if if we'd met you back then, would you have said you were confident, or were you just convincing yourself that you were?
I was confident back then. The band was good. I was healthy. You know, I think people liked me, and I wasn't aware of the dissatisfactions that were brewing in me. I had some musical dissatisfaction that started coming up around that time that made me wanna branch out and do other things, but I didn't have the balls or the courage to start moving towards them yet. That took a few more years.
And that's an interesting time, isn't it? But when the awareness starts, so you think you started to be aware of things that were like maybe not aligned, that you were really like, there's more for me.
Yeah. The people I was working with, and I was friends with them and I still am, but
Yeah,
I wanted to be more than what they had. An image of how that band should be, and we were good at it, and I said, "We can also add other elements into it," and they didn't wanna no one else was taking the lead with me on that one, and I was the youngest member, and I was just like, "We don't have to do songs just the way they were originally recorded. We can take songs and do it like a blues song or make a parody." I didn't really wasn't into parodies, but, I wanted to do other things, and they wanted to keep that machinery working just the way it was because it was working very well.
yeah. Yeah, and that's a difficult thing, isn't it? Because when you have, a misalignment in yourself, you can carry on doing what you do, but did you slightly lose the passion, or did you find that, "Yeah, well, you can just carry on doing this, but it's actually not what I wanna be doing?"
Started looking for other places, to be direct, I started looking for other musicians to do stuff with on the other days, and but I couldn't pursue it too much because we were so busy with the band that I was with already. I wanted to be with people who were, writing songs, and I wanted to start writing my own songs and taking, you know, old songs and reworking them in new ways, and I couldn't pursue that very much, and
Yeah,
I realized I wanted to. I didn't think it mattered, but then I realized it started to matter a lot.
yeah, and then it's sort of that pull, you have to follow, well, you don't have to, but if you don't follow that calling.
There'll just be a general frustration, or you'll
Mm,
just I don't know, you'll start to do things just to deal with the fact that you're not getting everything you want out of this situation, you know?
yeah. And
And
that's
also
through life, isn't it? Through everything.
yeah, I met some people who I met a couple singers, and they wanted to travel. They were touring the world, around the country and overseas, and I got to start playing with them,
Mm,
and it was exciting. All of a sudden, I'm traveling to, San Francisco, and I'm traveling to Germany and the Netherlands, and I liked it.
yeah.
And you're meeting a lot of people and just seeing different places around the world.
Amazing, amazing. So I mean, going back to when you were 30, what did success mean to you at 30?
I guess it was owning a house and having a car that worked all the time. I mean, I took the music part of it for granted. I wasn't going to be band I was in was a cover band. We played weddings and private parties. I was never going to be like a star on the radio in that setting. Probably never anyway. But I had enough money that I started to bought a house, which is a 30-year process, but I started the process, and I bought a truck, and I could so I was I kind of forget, were you asking what was my focus
Yeah,
on that?
sort of when you were 30, what does success look like for you? And is it different now? Is your definition of success different now?
Yes, but a lot of it still, now that I think about it, I hadn't, and this is not the answer I came up with while I was thinking about this interview ahead of time, but it is the this the f I guess it's financial security, just because I can kinda do what I want
Mm,
without, I'm not extravagant, I'm not buying, race cars or anything like that, but I have enough money, I have enough food, and I have enough musical friends, and I have a lovely wife who seems to like me most of the time,
that's a good thing.
and that's a good thing. Yes, and I hadn't started thinking about the fact that I have a big family, and they're spread out all around the country, and that's become starting to become more important to me now, that I wanna find a way to keep being in their living room,
Mm,
you know, more often than happens to right now. Because you get
yeah,
caught up in just working and playing, and you say yes to every musical opportunity, and then you realize 6 months have gone by and you haven't seen your sister.
yeah, yeah, and life's finite, isn't it, as we're getting older? I think that those things I travel back and forth, as you know, through Austin to see Kate and then out to the UK, um, because my parents are getting older, and I'm still very fortunate to have, to have my parents 87 and 85 and still, still with us and still with it, and, that's a wonderful thing, but it is a big trip around the world every 3 or 4 months to stay in touch, but it's important.
Yeah, and I gotta thank whoever came up with FaceTime. I guess that was Steve Jobs, but, because this has changed the game a lot. You wouldn't see someone
No.
thought of for years without this.
Exactly. And to be on a platform like we are now, where we can actually record, you're in Texas, you're in Austin, Texas, I'm in Melbourne, Australia. There's no delays. It's a, clear recording, amazing.
Yeah.
So just like going back to, I mean, did you you've written your own songs?
Yeah.
You have, I know,
I
because I've heard
probably
some
have
of them.
50 or 60 songs, and
Okay.
probably 25 of them are good. I don't know. I may be underselling myself.
I was gonna say, are you your hardest critic? Or, are those songs going to see the light of day? You play them live?
Yeah, I play them live, and I've got a couple records,
Yeah.
one under my name and a couple under my band's name, which is Grouchy, like Riley. That's the band name. Oh, look at you. Way to go. Oh, all right. Well, I'm gonna show you my new T-shirt.
Come on
And
then.
I wear shirts like this a lot, unbuttoned, and I wanted a shirt that showed this.
Amazing, I love it.
I'm not sure how many of those will sell, but I wanted a shirt that I could wear like that, kinda like a tie. You could see it with that.
Well,
And
I expect mine to be waiting for me at Don's Depot in
oh,
May. I love that. So, would you like to play something for us?
sure.
And I love the fact that piano's there, you can get, and it seems just a wasted opportunity not to. What would you like to play for us?
Well, I'll I'll combine it with a short story.
Okay,
There's
love that.
I work a lot at this club in Austin called Don's Depot, which you've been to, and
Okay.
a piano player, kind of a guy from Johannesburg. He's a classical pianist. He's been coming in, and we've become friends. And he's ridiculously good. And
I've
he's
seen
wonderful.
him. Seen
Yes,
him.
Anton Nell.
Yeah.
And we were chatting and he said, maybe we can get together and have tea or what. And I said, well, maybe we can get together and learn a couple songs together. And he's been open to it. So we worked up a few songs that we play together at Don's. And one, and I'll just play part of it, is a ragtime song that most people know goes, I'm doing a short version. So he'll play it like that, and then I say, now let's play it the other way, and I'll go,
Love it.
so well, thank you. And so we play it. That's a Scott Joplin song, and we play it the traditional way, and then we play it kind of as a blues boogie woogie kind of a song or swing. And that's one of the funnest things I get to do musically is I get together with Anton or other musicians and other times and take songs and make them our own, change
Yeah.
them.
I love that.
And if people happen to like hearing it, that's just a bonus. And fortunately, people have been liking hearing it.
I have seen at Don's when you've been rearranging, do they call it a rearrangement? And people are listening and they're thinking, we know this song, but it's like, and you are so funny because you watch every face of the people in there. It's great fun. I love it. Great fun.
Yeah, the thing I never want to see is just someone who just has that look like I'm just tolerating this till it's done till you get onto the I don't want that to happen. I want them to be inspired.
I don't think that's ever going to happen, is it? So
Well, sometimes
it
people
what?
have something else on their mind when they show up, and I
Oh,
understand.
maybe, but I'm
It's
sure
an
you can
important
shock
first
them out of
date or
that.
something like that.
Absolutely. So, Chip, just going back, we'll be here all day. I know if I don't keep to some kind of structure or whatever, it's our show, so we can do what we like with it. So, what's something you were absolutely certain about at 30? Sort of, you now realize you probably like had that completely wrong.
Gee, I didn't realize the need to expand my world. I thought I was just fine. I mean, I had all the friends I needed in this social life and the environment, and I didn't entertain the idea that at some point it would be 30 years later and I wish I had done 20 other things. I was kind of content. Although there was as I was mentioning before, I realized there was a couple of things I was frustrated about, but I didn't realize I could change them. So I don't think that's a very good answer to your question.
I think it's a really good answer because I think one of, even just the statement, I realized, that I could have changed it. And I think, I want everyone to listen to this because this part of the story really matters is that we do all have choice. And, when we share our stories and we actually, look back and younger generation, if they can actually understand that they have choice, that they have a responsibility to exercise their choice.
Well, I
That's a
certainly
big
had
blessing.
choices. I know there's some folks that they're stuck in a situation where they don't have as many choices. If you're a young mother with 3 kids and you're on your own, you may have to your choices may be less.
Yeah.
But I had choices, and I had time to ponder them, and I could have instead of sleeping till noon, I could have got up and done things from 9 to noon that would have I could have had another job and bought 2 houses, and then sold one and be driving a big car. And, to some of my choices, I wish I'd started interacting with other musicians from different genres and different age groups. I wish I'd started that earlier because now I walk around Austin, and I've been here for 44 years, and there's a lot of people I've known for 35, 40 of those years and anything in between, and it's great to have them as friends and still see them and you keep in touch with them, and I I wish I'd started that reaching out thing a little earlier, and because who knows who I could have come across.
Yeah, well, exactly. Especially, you know, especially now with technology and everything else, it's not nothing's defined to that face to face, is it?
Right. And back then there was, as we know, there was no internet or FaceTime, and you would go
True.
out of town for a week and you would just disappear from the radar. No one would know anything about you unless you, and we didn't even have cell phones back then.
No, that's right. So, Chip, tell me about like a moment in time which at the time felt like failure, rejection, or everything falling apart, but was actually now something that probably defined where you are and what you do now.
Well, I don't think it was a failure, but when I had a son and then when they moved away, I really felt like I had screwed up. And it made me straighten up a bit and start having more of a plan for getting my, can I say shit on this?
You can, you just did.
Right. So it got me to get my act together a little bit. And so that was the biggest change, the biggest failure, or I felt that turned into something good because we have a good relationship, and I get to talk to him the way I think my dad talked to me, and I'm still friends with his mom, and everyone's amicable, and that's a lovely thing. Yeah. And I thought I had really screwed up, and maybe I did, but I've sort of fixed it, or we're all okay now.
Yeah, and that's a strong lesson, isn't it? If you do the right thing, even that internal battle that was probably going on in the beginning, but when you find the right direction, was there a point in that time that where you nearly gave up?
I never really considered just dropping the music. I remember that I did consider maybe I should follow them to Seattle, but then I realized, no, she's moving to Seattle to get 2,000 miles away from me, so don't do that. She actually, and part of it is she wanted to get out of Texas. It was too hot for her, and some things like that,
Yeah.
and politics, and that kind of thing.
Looking back now, what did that experience teach you about yourself that probably success never could?
That I'm not such a bad guy, even if I made a mistake or didn't follow through as far as I could have, I wasn't trying to hurt anybody, but I still felt it was time to grow up a little bit, and you know,
I think that's maybe a thing for a lot of people that get to 30. It's that time where sort of adulting actually hits you in the face. And it's like, well, no one's coming to save you. This is just about, what you've done. Some people do their 20s really well, some people don't. And, that's
and I was to be honest, I was lucky in some sense because I had a little bit of a safety blanket. My dad, my dad and mom, I knew if everything went to hell, they would bail me out, so to speak. I mean, if my house burned down, they would help me, you know, let me stay with them. If yeah, I suppose if I got thrown in jail, they would come bail me out. So I was able to, it let me be able to take the risk that I took in when I was about 33. You know,
okay.
when I quit that band, it let me feel like, okay, even if this falls flat, I'm not going to be homeless and broke.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about that. That was obviously a fairly defining moment in your career, in your life.
Well, I gave the guys in the band notice that I wanted to move to Nashville because I met some folks in a band that lived down there, and they said, "Oh, if you come down here, we'll help you out and get you started and so forth." And
Mm.
so I was thinking about doing that, and I was asking friends here about that, and they said, "Well, we can help you with that, but we also know these other people that you might like that actually live here in Austin." And they introduced me to a couple singer-songwriters that were putting out records all the time, and that's who I started touring with. And I no longer had to go to Nashville to accomplish getting into a new line of music.
Yeah.
And I've still never made it to Nashville. I've tried it 3 times, and, like, every time I'm get on the edge of going, something better comes up here,
That's
and I don't know
interesting,
if that
isn't it?
means I'm just not meant to go or maybe I'm just chicken.
Well, maybe it needs to be on your bucket list and one where you make a choice to go, "I'm going to Nashville." Maybe there's a
Well,
song there,
I've
Chip,
been there a lot of times, it's just I've never moved there,
move there.
and there is a bit of it's not so much a competition, but there's a rivalry between Austin and Nashville that they have a certain way of doing things, and we have a different way of doing it down here, and I
And
like
that
what we do.
I like what you do too. So if you could sit across yourself, across from yourself at 30 years old, Chip, what are the 3 things that you'd want your 30-year-old self to truly understand? Not just hear, but truly understand.
Save money, and I can only do it in a musical context, is that learn 5 or 10 different styles of music and get good at them. You don't have to be amazing, you just have to be at least good, and if you find one that you have an inclination towards, become a get great at it. And then keep in touch with the people you meet, especially if they're good people, you know, because I meet a lot of people and I know a lot of people this much,
Yeah,
and it'd be better if I knew them that much. So write letters or write emails, or when you're passing through their town, take 10 minutes and keep in touch with people.
I love that. 'Cause friends don't have to be with you all the time, do they? But they have
No,
to, that it's those connections that you make along the way that, end up with you on podcasts and end up, being
right.
able to chat and to enjoy friendships, and I love that.
And, I have probably 500 contacts. Oh, that's my granddaughter. Sorry. One of my granddaughters.
Beautiful.
I probably have 500 phone numbers in there. And we just had a patch of bad weather here. So there were 3 days where we couldn't really do anything.
Okay.
So I had several hours a day where I just went through my phone and said, "Oh, I haven't talked to that person in a year." And I called them up
Nice.
and just rattled their cage. It felt good to me. I think it felt good to them.
I love that. Positive connection is one of my highest values. And I love, actually being able to talk to somebody face to face like we are or on the phone. It's it's so much better than obviously we all use the written word, but I love nothing better than to have a conversation like we are or be able to pick the
Yeah.
phone up and talk to people.
And if I have a suggestion for anybody is if you have to text with somebody more than like 2 texts, call them.
Yeah.
Stop, because you miss so much.
You know why though? As we get older, I don't know about you, but the actual font size on the text now is so small. It's actually easier to pick the phone up and talk to somebody than it is to put fat thumbs onto a phone. I know that's my go-to now as well.
And I have a sarcastic sense of humor, and
You
it
do.
doesn't work in texts. I mean, if I could say, "Boy, you look good," and, on a text, it says, "Boy, you look good," but, if
What you
if you hear
actually
'em talk,
mean.
but you do look just fine, by the way.
Oh, thank you, sir. So, Chip, going back to, do you think that people in their 30s are under more pressure or just different pressure now?
I think it's different pressure, and there's some of it I don't understand. I don't know what AI is doing to people, if it's putting them out of jobs or making their jobs better. I think people are comparing themselves, or maybe they're competing with people all over the world for the same. If you're a tech wizard, now you're competing with someone in Germany, and in New York City, and maybe you always were, but now you're really aware of it.
Mm,
Also, I don't know how young musicians, and I can't talk about people in the tech world because I've never really been part of that.
yeah, yeah.
But as you noticed when I was trying to start this phone conversation,
We got there. We got
um,
there.
you know, I don't know how younger musicians ever manage to get ahead financially. And I don't want to always just harp on the money side of it, but not having that constant stress of, "Oh my god, I can't go to the doctor because it might be $100." I mean, That sucks.
Mm.
And, and if I had to drop everything, jump on a plane and go visit my brother because, something came up, I could do it, and granted, there's credit cards too.
Yeah. So, I mean, from a musician's perspective, though, is sort of AI and also, being able to have these online platforms, does that maybe give them more opportunity, do you think? Or throws them into a bigger pool, a different pool?
Can't tell what I don't have a good answer about the AI thing yet. I mean, I've heard songs that are completely created by AI,
Mm,
and it kind of bugs me because they sound really good.
yeah.
I would, and I think a lot of times people just they enjoy music in the background and they don't care that it's, actually the
Where it
Rolling
came
Stones
from.
are just an AI version of a Rolling Stone song. And, you know, so I think it's probably harder for them now. Part of the reason I'm managed to stay successful is because, I play in in bands, oldies bands or original bands, but also I play for the ballet dance classes.
I didn't know that.
And, and, yeah. And I play for, retirement homes, old folks homes.
Beautiful.
And, and those are actually getting this is bizarre. They're actually getting easier because when I started playing them, 1990, I had to learn songs from the 40s and the 50s.
Yeah.
Are those dogs driving you crazy?
Are they driving you crazy? Do you want to go sort them out?
No, yeah, give me 1 second. I can make that a little better.
Absolutely.
Hold on. Hey, dogs. All right. Okay, I'm back. I don't know. I can't even find them. I think they're outside the window barking at me. Where were we? And I'm sorry.
So that we were just talking about, we were talking about, whether you think it's harder for young
Right.
people now, especially in the music world, or whether they have more opportunity with the internet and Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, all of those things.
I don't think you make any money off of Spotify and those kind of platforms. I think it raises your awareness. I mean, people around the world all of a sudden know you exist. And that's great, but it does. And so maybe if you go and perform in their town, they'll have already heard of you.
Yeah.
But in general, I don't think it helps. I think it's harder. Oh, I know what I was talking about. I was saying about when I play for retirement homes, and
Well, that's
back
right.
in
Sorry, yes, you
1990,
are.
I had to learn songs from the 40s because the people that were in retirement homes, they left Mr. Sandman, da 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 da, that was the kind of songs they knew.
Yeah.
And now that it's 35 years later, the songs that the people are in retirement homes are now are like the Beatles and John Denver. And I'm like, "Well, I know all those songs." Then I said, "Well, that's because I'm as old as the people in the retirement." And I was like, "Okay."
Does that mean they get you free when you move in?
Wha Yes, I think that's what it means.
Dear.
And, I'm sorry, I'm gonna yell to my wife, "Dorothy, he's in here, and if you could get him, that'd be great." And, yeah, I know all the repertoire, and which is fun because I can do a better job at entertaining them,
I'm sure they love that.
we have an organization in Austin called, Swan Songs, and we get to play we get asked to play for people kind of in their final days,
Okay.
and they'll ask the family usually asks for us to come in. Mom always loved to hear Johnny Cash songs, so they'll find someone to come play Johnny Cash songs, or they like, you know, Mexican polkas, and they'll find someone to come and play that. Fortunately, I can cover a lot of those bases, so you get to go into those situations a lot, and it's really and they pay us. There's an organization that raises money and hires us to go in and do that, so we make some money doing it. But you really get to do something for
That's
people that
beautiful.
really I'm surprised it's not a worldwide thing because it's an
Well,
amazing instrument.
maybe there's a direction there. Maybe there's an opportunity. I think that's a beautiful thing to be able to, and not just, not just a record or a CD or something played on Spotify, but it's actually real.
Yeah, and you really feel like you're doing something, and I
Yeah.
want the younger folks. I know some of the kids that are 25 or 35. I don't know they realize what they're missing out on by not taking part in that, and I want them to know that.
Yeah, I think that's a really beautiful thing.
I'm probably not answering your question very well, but that's
No, you are, and I love the whole if we hadn't given a little bit of space, we wouldn't have learnt about, being able to swan song is a fantastic innovation. I mean, it's that's a really beautiful thing to be able to do for someone in their last few days of life. I think that's incredible. Just going back to we're not quite at our last days of life yet. When you look back over the years and you look back, what has the best advice that you've ever received been? And were you ready to accept it when it was given to you? Could you hear that advice?
I think the best advice I got was, and I can always answer this in a musical context, is just learn everything. Don't just be a blues guy. Yes, be a great blues guy, but learn jazz, learn folk, expand beyond what you already know. I mean, if I'm just going, which is fine, you can do that, but if you can also go, now that's twice as many performances you can do. And if you can play, if you can play classical, you have settings to do that. And plus, you'll meet people you would never otherwise meet, and they might get you into situations that you would never expect. I have a friend who helps put music into movies. And I just met him eating lunch one day and I was like, I had no idea you did that. He goes, oh yeah, I do it all the time. And so I send him stuff and we've had a couple songs in just in background scenes of movies, but there's a $600 check that I would have never known about and a contact that and just learn
So,
everything.
what was the mindset shift that you needed, like coming into your 30s to actually get to that part? Because you talk about, when you were first performing and you'd stay in bed, you wouldn't get up till midday. Because obviously you're probably doing long shifts in when you were playing, but you didn't use it. But what was the mindset shift, to create the level and the excellence that you perform at now?
Don't know. Just I wanted to impress the new people I was meeting, so I just started practicing more and just paying attention. I think it was just learning everything. Oh, wait, I do remember one thing. I forgot about this. A guy came on the music scene, I think it was in the 90s, and because a lot of the music back then was guitar rock, I mean, a lot of rock and roll bands. And then Bruce Hornsby came out, and all of a sudden there was excellent piano playing on the radio all the time in popular pop songs. I was like, "Oh my god, there's a reason to practice to be that good." And so I started doing that, and I realized if I had to get out of my bubble. I was staying in a certain bubble, and by branching out of that, it made it exciting to expand my vocabulary, my music vocabulary.
To get to where you are now, I mean, you can have a full-blown conversation and play classical music at the same time. You like your repertoire of different genres and how you change, how you speak through your fingers really to your audience. How long did it take you to get to that level of proficiency?
The whole time.
Okay. Silly
You
me.
know, I started doing when I started doing solo piano shows and a lot of times you just get hired to kind of be the background music over there in the corner. And it inevitably someone will want to come up and talk to you while you're playing. And which is a challenge. You have to figure out, I mean, I'll show you.
I may
I
have
have to
done
be
that.
able to talk to you while I'm playing the chords. Yes, I can play Fly Me to the Moon if you wait till this song is over. You just have You have to learn to disconnect your brain from your hands, sort of.
I love that.
I forgot about that. And that is I guess it's a, I get, if I have a talent, if there's a God given talent that I was given that one where I can continue to play and have a separate conversation at the same time.
Yeah, and I'm in awe of you for that because people come up to you all the time. Can you do this? Can you do this? And you're chatting away to them, but you're carrying on playing, and the band's carrying on playing, and everything's carrying on. It's really quite incredible.
Well,
That's
that's why I
brilliant.
always tell people when they learn an instrument, if you play guitar or you play piano or drums or whatever, to learn to sing at the same time, even if you're no good,
Yeah.
because it makes your brain, you have to use a third part of your brain at the same time. I guess a mom would know how to do that when she's got to carry a baby and feed the thing and answer the phone and turn off the stove at the same time. Yeah,
All those
it's
things.
the multitasking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. This next section, this is where wisdom replaces ambition. And I love this part. So, Chip, what was the worst advice you ever followed and what did it cost you?
When I took the advice and sold the first house I had because maybe I was going to leave town and I didn't leave town, and that house is worth about 50 times now more than it was then.
That's a big cost. What's one belief you had in your 30s that makes you laugh now?
Good Lord. Can I think about that one for a second? Can we
Yeah,
come back to that?
absolutely. I threw that one in. It's a bit of a curveball.
That's
So
okay.
if you're how about this one then? I know you will have thought about this one. If your 30-year-old self had a theme song, what is it and why?
I had this damn answer for you. I even wrote it down. What was the song I wanted to tell you about? It was I'm so sorry. I was
That's
ready to do
okay.
this and I have it on my listen here. Oh, I'm almost here.
And has it changed while we've been talking?
It's if I had a theme song that I would pick now, it's a song called "Here's to the Trains I've Missed." And what it's about is it's a Walt Wilkins song. He's like, here's to all the opportunities I didn't cash in on. I missed because I screwed up because I would not have be where I am right now if I had taken up on those things. So it's okay if you miss out on opportunities, just keep going. So I think that's if I have a theme song, it's "Here's to the Trains I've Missed."
Are you going to play it for us?
Sure. Part of it anyway. Here's to the trains I've missed, the loves I've lost, the rivers I've crossed, the rivers I never crossed, the heart. I'm gonna play it right for you because I got it right here. And I'll tell you, if my memory was better these days, I would remember lyrics better. Okay. Here's to the trains I've missed, the loves I've lost, the bridges I burned, the rivers I never crossed, the call I didn't hear, the signs I didn't heed, the roads I couldn't take, the maps I just would not read. It's a big old world, but I found my way through the hell and the hurt. It led me straight to this. Here's to the trains I miss. 'Cause I've been a clown, I've been a fool. I pushed on every chance, crossed so many lines, trying to crawl out of God's hands. But there were stones that I didn't throw, and hearts I didn't break. A little hope I held to with each silver, shining thread of faith. It's a big old world, but I found my way through the hell and the hurt, led me straight to this. Here's to the trains I miss. Here's to this place I found, the loves that I've known, the earth and the sky that I call home. The things I need, they're bigger than me. The moment I find myself right where I'm supposed to be. It's a big old world. I found my way through the hell and the hurt. It led me straight to this. Here's to the trains I missed.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I love
Actually
that
brought a
song.
bit of a tear.
And it almost does that to me every time I sing it because, I have a lot of good situations in and I should just appreciate when I can, I have to remember to appreciate them. I have nice
Absolutely.
friends. I have good bandmates. I have a house with heat. I have a lovely wife. And we have 7 dogs today, which is crazy, but we do.
And we've heard from all of them live on What I Wish
Yes.
I Knew at 30. Wow,
Yeah.
that was just beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Chip.
I'm glad I didn't plan on sitting at the piano, but I'm glad
I
I did.
love that you did. I was actually gonna message you and say, "Are you gonna be near the piano?" So I'm so glad that you did that. What's one skill, Chip, that you were terrible at back then when you were 30, but you've completely mastered it now?
Cooking pasta.
Excellent.
Cooking for myself.
Good. Well done.
I never thought it would matter, but I realize
It actually does.
it actually does.
Yeah,
You can
it
always just
does.
put a frozen dinner in, but when you can actually cook a little bit, you don't feel like such a bum bachelor loser dude.
I love that. That's a really good thing to do. What indulgence or guilty pleasure are you finally unapologetic about?
Carolyn's in my coffee.
You're gonna have to
It's
explain that for the rest of us.
I know, I know. A lot of Bailey's in coffee is Bailey's Irish cream is a pretty common drink.
Mhm.
And I started I liked it, but I found there's an alternative to Bailey's, which is Carolyn's. And I think it's actually made by the same company, but
Probably, yeah.
it's half the price, and it's probably the reason I've gained 20 pounds over 5 years because I have one every morning. There was a time, as I told you, we have 7 grandkids, and, for about a year and a half, 2 of them and their mom lived here with us, and I think they're wonderful, but they wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they're loud, you know, because, they're 5-year-old girl she was a 5-year-old girl at the time.
Yeah.
And I figured out that I got my own coffee maker upstairs in my bedroom, and I bought a bottle of Carolans, and I would have my first 1 or 2 cups of coffee upstairs, and
Out the way.
before I came down to face the world, and I think it has added, 20 pounds to my belly over the last that's been going on for about 10 years now.
Brilliant.
It's technically alcohol, but it's a liqueur, it's very
Very
low,
light. Yeah, yeah,
and I
and a
have one
small
every
amount.
damn day.
Good, and
First
I'm
thing.
glad you're not gonna apologize for it. I think that's amazing. So, if someone's listening is in the middle of their own messy chapter right now, what would you like them to hear most?
To reach out to somebody that you might not remember has something to offer. Try to call your friends you haven't talked to in a while, or your brother or your dad or something. You know, it's don't sit in your pot of misery and just think there's nothing I can do. Reach out and don't stop trying. And sometimes just being there is trying hard enough.
And if you could go back to the exact moment that everything felt uncertain in your life, what would you whisper to yourself now?
Write more letters. It's part of what I mean is keep in touch. Don't isolate yourself from people. I know sometimes artists like to go into their own cocoon or their own world and say, I've got to go off by myself in the woods and write for a month. And I think that's fine and dandy. But if you're in a bad way or you're trying to change your circumstance, I don't think I don't think we're meant to be alone. I think, and maybe the person who happens to be across the hall from you is not a good influence. So find another thing, go to if you find somebody nice who works at the convenience store, stop in there every day and say hi. That's a little weird, but that's kind of how I feel about it.
No, I think
I like I
similar
like
as well.
going in person better than I like ordering things online. Given the chance, I will go to the store almost every time.
Do you think people are more isolated than they were sort of back when you were 30? I was almost going to say in the olden days, but I mean, we're the same age. So do you think isolation is a bigger issue now
I
than it
think
was
so.
before?
Yeah, I think people spend so much time on Instagram or Facebook and I don't even know about TikTok. I don't pay any attention to them. Sometimes I find myself, I didn't realize I was on TikTok, because I'm looking at something and and you can waste an hour or all day doing that. But sometimes it feels good to binge on your favorite TV show. I've been watching The West Wing.
Oh,
It
okay.
and I'm so frustrated with what's happening with our government here in the politics. I watch West Wing because it shows people trying to be good people, and granted it's a TV show.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah, yeah.
I don't fool myself, but I like to pretend that there's good people in
That there's
charge.
good stuff still going on. Yeah, awesome. Chip, thank you for sharing your story so honestly and for
You're so welcome.
sharing your and just wonderful. And I'm sure we've got one more song in you. But to everyone listening, if this episode resonated, please share with someone who's navigating their own turning point. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. I'm Fran Harper, and this is What I Wish I Knew at 30. My guest today has been Mr. Chip Dolan from Austin, Texas, but originally from Newton, New Jersey. And I've really enjoyed talking to you, Chip. I can't wait to be back out in Austin and really looking forward to catching up with you again. Is there something that you would like to play us out with?
Sure. This is sort of my newest song, and to be honest, it's a co-write. I found a bunch of lines written by Dr. John, who's a New Orleans singer, piano player, and he never put it to music. So I put it to music. So
Beautiful.
it goes. And the gist of it is you just where you are and that's where it's at. So it goes like this. You're never too hot. You're never too cold. You're never too young. You're never too old. You're never too skinny. You're never too fat. You're never too this. No, you're never too that. You just where you are, and that's where it's at. You're never too tight. You're never too cool. You're never too right. You'll never be a fool. You're never too willing, never too Hank. Get it from the doctor. You can take it to the bank. You just where you are, and that's where it's at. You just where you are, and that's where it's at.
Fantastic. I love it. Absolutely amazing. Chip, thank you so much for joining me on What I Wish I Knew at 30. And I can't wait to see you again very, very soon.
I hope we see you soon. Thank you so much.
You absolutely will.